Hello and welcome to Kip's Bits. So I'm doing a little video today where I basically bought a clock kit from AliExpress, and it's just a sort of solder practice kit really. I've got lots of bits and pieces and some very bad instructions in front of me, and I've just decided to sort of start making it. I wasn't actually going to record this on video, but I thought this might be interesting for some of you, especially if you're trying to sort of find out actually how you put this kit together and figure out the instructions, because the instructions are a bit of a pain to find online. So yeah, this isn't going to be a very professional video. I'm just going to record what my microscope is seeing. I'll cut in and talk to you a bit, but there's just going to be a lot of time lapse, some voiceover, and yeah, I've already started it because I wasn't going to film it. So we've got the circuit board here, which is all sort of marked up, and you'll notice that there are some chips on here already because I've already soldered them on. So the first one I did was this guy here at U3, and it's an STC 15W408AS. Don't know what that is. And to get it aligned correctly, you need to make sure the spot is pointing to the spot. So that's what goes there. And then here at U2, we have got a TM1639. Again, don't know what that is. Could maybe put that on the screen. And yeah, there's just lots of different spaces around the board for us to fill with other things. And the next thing I think we're going to do is the chip that's at U6. And yeah, I've got to find it in this pile of bits and hopefully get it installed. I've done similar kits like this before, but nothing this big. So yeah, this is my first time doing it. I've obviously done soldering lots on my main channel, but it's always good to practice. So that's the whole idea of this. I might record it over several days as well. So if my t-shirt changes or whatnot, it's just because I've only got a limited amount of time per day to do essentially this. Now for doing these kits, you can get away without using a microscope, but yeah, my eyes aren't great anyway, and it's not as easy for you to see if I'm filming on my overhead camera. So let's get this U6 in position. So again, it's got to get the little spot to the little spot. Now obviously you can use hot air for this. That's probably a sensible idea, but you can do these with a soldering iron. And the best thing to do is get one corner in first and get it roughly straight, then do the opposite corner and then do all the other pins. So yeah, let's do that. Let's apply a bit of the flux to one of the corner pins. So this is a DS1 3022N plus. Again, don't know what that is. Yeah, that's not perfect, but it's straight enough. None of the pins are overlapping. Right, and then yeah, we can just get the remaining pins soldered down. It's quite easy to end up shorting the pins together, but you just got to give it a wave with your soldering iron and that should be okay. Just give it a clean with a toothbrush and some IPA. Yeah, I think that's all in position. Now I'm following what the instructions tell me to do and the order that it tells me to do it in, probably because there is a sensible order to this. Because I think like one of the last things you do is you put the LCD segments in. So yeah, just follow through what I'm doing because I'm doing it in the order of the instructions. And then next we need to look over here at U4 where our AMS 1117-33 is going. Might be a diode maybe. Right, I'm just going to again do one pin, get it roughly straight, and then do the others. It's slightly off wonk a bit, but it doesn't matter, so we're not going to short anything. So our next thing to go in is the battery holder. Sort of pretty self-explanatory how this goes in. I think this must have some sort of battery backup so if it loses power, it will keep the time. I think this is powered by micro or mini USB. Just got to be slightly cautious of this guy because obviously it's plastic and we don't want to melt the plastic ideally. Don't think any plastic was harmed. So our next job is to put on these surface mount capacitors. One goes at C7 and the other goes at C9, and they are 100 UF microfarad, 25 volts. I mean, this is going to be fun to do. They've obviously shaped a little bit like a house, and so you have to orient them that way as well. So I'm going to do one side. Again, plastic here, so we don't want to melt that, but I feel that might be an inevitability. Look at that nubbin, it's tiny. That's what she said. So this is where things get a little bit fiddly, and we've got to put these LEDs, which are in this packet here. And can you see there's that little green line on them? Very, very faintly. And that is the negative side of the LED, because LEDs can only go in one way or else they won't work. So we've got to get one of those tiny LEDs and put it on that pad up there, and then another one of the tiny LEDs and put them on that pad there. This actually has Wi-Fi on it, and I think these are Wi-Fi status LEDs. There we go, look, you can see it's so tiny. Right. Okay, that can be the one that goes there then. I think these are the smallest components on the board. With the flux and everything there, it does look a little bit of a mess. I think I will just clean it all up when I come back to do the R13 and R14 resistors there. So next up, we need to put a little transistor. This is a 2T1. It's thrown itself where it needs to go, but it's upside down. There you go, we can see what it is on there now. So there's a 2T1. So now we've got to install some surface mount capacitors, and there's 3 different types. So we've got 100 PF, which are 101, and I think those are these ones because there's 3 of those. And then we've got the 0.1 UF, which are 104, so those ones there, and there's 3 of those, so that helps us determine, because there's no numbers written on the back of the 101 ones. And then we've got these 2, which are 22 picofarad, and there's 2 of those. So yeah, I think we've identified what all our capacitors are. So let's do our 100 picofarad first, and those go, well, there. They go at C1, C2 and C3. And then what's best to do with these is to get them soldered down on one end first and then solder the other end. So yeah, that will go something like that. And so flux on one side, tiny blib of solder, so just another 2 of those to do. And now we've got to put our 104 capacitors at C4, C6, and where is it? C8. So exactly the same principle. Worth noting that these capacitors aren't polarized, so they can go whatever way round you like. Okay, so it looks like we've got our final surface mounted capacitors, and it's the 22p ones, and there's two of them, and they go at C13 and C12. So it's resistor time, and we've got our 10k resistors here, which are marked 103, and they've got to go on R3, R4, R5, 6, 7 and 8, and then, where is it? Where's 10 and 11? Oh, there's 11, and 10, there we go. There's not really much to say with this, we've just got to smash through all of those resistors in all those positions. So I don't think I'm even going to film those because it's just very much all the same. So yeah, let's get all of those done and I'll come back when they're all finished. So we've got all our 10k resistors installed. So we've got R3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, R10 and R11. Even put them all around the right way, just like, you know, so the numbers line up. A little bit wonky, but it's very hard to get them perfectly straight when you're working with such small components. So next we need to put our 1k resistor at R12. So that is just one on its own, marked 102. Must be this one. 102. That will go there. Excellent. Now we've got our 2.2 kilo ohm resistors, which have got 222 on them, and they have to go up by those LEDs at R14 and R13. I'll get those installed and then I'll have a little clean up and I'll see how it looks. Might need to put a little bit more solder on those LEDs maybe. Don't know, but yeah, these guys will go there. So there's our R13 and R14 in position, those 2.2 kilo ohm resistors, giving it a little bit of a clean up. I don't really like sort of scrubbing at LEDs too much, they feel a bit delicate. So yeah, but all good. So now we've got to put our 330 ohm resistor at position R19, and I think that's this guy on its own. Yes, 331. 3 3s and 1 0, so that is 330 ohms. He's got to go there. Okay, so we're on our final straight now of the tiny surface mount components, and yeah, it's just the resistors here at R15, R16, R17 and R18, and they are 220 ohm resistors, and there they are. So yeah, just got to do those. I'll do it off camera again because you've seen a lot of small components being soldered, and yeah, we're getting there at last. Right, so there we go. We've got our 220 ohm resistors at R15, 16, 17 and 18 there. And that's all the tiny components done. So now we've got to go up here, and we've got this guy, which is R9. And I don't know what this component is. That's got to go to R9, but when in the pictures, it's not actually shown completely flush with the board. It's sort of protruding up a bit. And it's hard to know how much it's protruding up by. So I think I'm just going to get one leg soldered in. We might need to revisit this and adjust it later on. So yeah, that guy's sort of there at R9 and just poking up, doing whatever he does. Okay, and then we've got this 103 guy here, and he has to go. There we go. Ah, so this guy now is our crystal. And apparently it's a 32.768 kilohertz crystal. And that has to go in X1. So in X1 it will go. So crystal in at X1, and now we've got a buzzer. Interesting. And it says remove seal after washing. So obviously that means like if you want to clean it with some IPA. Now this also has a positive and negative. So this side is our positive. So that goes into the board like so. And while we're talking about washing, yeah, I'll give this side of the board a quick clean. So our next job is putting in where our power comes in, and that is with this little USB port, which goes in here. I need to solder this sort of slightly off under the soldering iron so I can get it completely flat. So yeah, you won't be able to see it, so back in a second. So there's our micro USB socket installed. So then we've just got to put in our up and set buttons. Hopefully it won't cause any upset. Sorry about that. Right, okay, so yeah, they just go in. You want to try and get them as straight as possible. It's probably a good idea to do like 1 or 2 legs first. Make sure they're straight and then do the rest. So I'll just do 1 actually. Yeah, that looks straight, so I can do all the other legs now. Button's still working. Right, same again with that one. Same thing here with our set button, so I'll just quickly do that. So we've got our up and set buttons soldered in perfectly. Now I just looked a bit further on in the instructions and it shows this crystal bent down, which is fine, but it also shows R9 completely flush with the board because there's a case that comes with the kit, and yeah, for it to fit in the case, R9 needs to be pressed down. So yeah, I've got to go back now and just give the R9 a bit of a push down so it's flush with the board. So now we have to put in this connector into the U1 space. So yeah, I think I'll just flip it over. Make sure one pin is perfectly straight in one corner and then go to the other corner. Make sure it's perfectly straight and flat and then do the rest of them. Because this is a plastic connector, you don't want to put too much heat in and around it in one go. Now it comes with this header pin that can go in here, but apparently you don't need it because that is purely for programming and it's been programmed already. So I'm going to skip that bit because this has taken long enough. Now I think at the end our little Wi-Fi module is going to go into this guy here. But first we need to get the LEDs into position. Let's bring this up a little bit. Now you can sort of see how our LEDs go in. They've got this dot in the corner which corresponds to the dot in the corner there. So that one's the right way up, that one's the right way up, but this one is flipped around because the dot's up there, and then this one here is back to how it was. So yeah, you have to make sure you get the dots where they should be, or else it will be on the wonk essentially. So there you go, that is our first one in position. I think they have protective film over them as well, so that's good. Right, so I'll put these 2 in position. So I'm going to flip the board over. So there's 20 solder points for me to do there, so I'm just going to do those off camera. All right, so we've got the first 2 LEDs in position. And yeah, that's soldered in that side, soldered in that side, and that's how it looks. So our next one that goes in has to be our upside down one. So let's make sure we do that now before we forget. Oh, it's not lying as flat because that corner is right by where this guy is. Okay, so I might need to trim him back a bit. That'll have to do, I think. And then we've got our final one, which is round the right way. So we've got that essentially. Right, so I'm just going to get those soldered in, much like the other two. And we're very nearly there. We've got our last two things to solder now, and they are the smaller LEDs. And again, we've got to pay attention to where the dots are. So something like that. So yeah, it's just a case of getting those other 20 connections done. And then I think we're done with the soldering. Well, so long as it works anyway. So yeah, I'm just going to get on with it and get these soldered in. Well, here we go. It's all finished. Well, nearly. We've got to build the case for it and also test it. And we need to put in our battery. So that's a CR1220. And then we've got our little Wi-Fi module. And that goes in this way round like this. So you've got the ziggy-zag bit on the edge of the board. And there we go. That's in position. So in theory now, this should be ready to go. We just need to put it into our case. But it's getting a bit late in the day for me now, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back in a second for you, but tomorrow for me, and we can test it and then put it in the case. Well, it's the following day now. Something has changed. I have pulled out the Wi-Fi thing because, well, you'll see why shortly. And also I've removed the plastic covering that was on top of all the segments. And yeah, it's sort of more of a matte black than a shiny finish. So now we have to assemble the case for this. That's why I've got a glove on, because I think if I get fingerprints inside the perspex, it will annoy me until the end of time. So yeah, I'm wearing gloves. That's not a very clean pull. Oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear. Obviously outside smudges and things you can clean off, but when it's inside, not so easy. Right, I think I'm going to leave the front glass protective thing on, and I'm actually going to put these bolts through. Right, so if we put our clock there. I did look online to see if I could find a 3D printed case for this rather than using a perspex one, but there wasn't one. I might design one, maybe. Right, and then we've got the top and bottom pieces. Actually, this is a really good time to say, if you don't subscribe to this channel, please subscribe to this channel. That would be awesome. And if you've just come across this video and you don't have a clue who I am, my name is Kip Hakes. I've got a bigger YouTube channel that I do most of my main stuff on. This is just my secondary channel. But yeah, my main channel is pretty good, and I think you'd like it. Oh man, this protective paper stuff on here is just so spiteful. Oh man, there we go. Cool. Right, let's now plug in the Wi-Fi adapter. Because yeah, that sort of hangs on the outside of the case. I don't know whether it helps with the signal, maybe. Let's power it on. Ooh! It's doing something. Let me just turn the light off that's covering the table. There we go. That's a bit better. So in theory now, we might have a Wi-Fi network to join. There we go. 5D ES network clock. Right, what's the password? 56ds.com. I'm trying to read the Chinese instructions. Oh, I think it's going to work. Right, okay, so we're connected to the Wi-Fi on this. So now, if we browse to 192.168.4.1. Okay, right. So we need to configure the time zone. What are we in? I think we're in UTC +1 in the UK. Right, and then configure your Wi-Fi information. Okay, so it's found enter my Wi-Fi password. Connect to the Wi-Fi. The setting is successful, restarting to take effect. That is the current time. And I think the 24, I think this resistor in the back is a heat resistor. I think it's like a thermistor. We did it. What do the buttons do? So one of it is set and one of it is up. I don't know quite. Don't know what that means. Don't know what that means. Don't know what that means. Yeah, the instructions are a little bit vague. If I can work out what those things mean, I will add it like on the screen. Might be able to change the temperature units maybe. But there we go. We've got this cool little clock. I know it's sort of a bit of a basic bitch project, but I'm pleased with that. So if we unpower it and then plug it back in again, will it have remembered the time? Should do. Yeah, it's 9:57. That is so cool. That has made me so happy. I didn't have to do any troubleshooting or anything like that. It just worked. I don't know where I'm going to put this little clock, but yeah, I might put it in front of me, maybe. So there we go. We have got a nice little clock. How much power is it drawing? Can this tell me, my little power bank? Okay, so it's just pulling 0.4 watts, 0.3 watts. And yeah, this massive battery pack will power it for 36 hours and 12 minutes based on that. So it doesn't really draw all that much at all. I'm actually really happy. I am so happy. That is good. Oh, well, there you go. If you've enjoyed this video and it's helped you at all, then please do let me know in the comments. What I'll do is I'll try and link the actual instructions that I followed into the video description as well, so you don't have to hunt for them because they are a bit of a pain to find. But hopefully just following along with the video will help you. But yeah, with a bit of patience and a soldering iron and ideally a microscope, it's not a terrible project to do. It took me about 2 or 3 hours yesterday to do it, but that did also include having to film as well. So yeah, that does make things take a little bit longer. I really hope you've enjoyed it. I'm happy. I'm really happy. So that is it. Well, yeah, I don't think I've got anything else to say. So thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. But for now, it's game over.